could say by himself of what he has achieved and why the CMA feels that it is him. So please still welcome, and I don't have much to say. Mine is to welcome you all, and maybe I will start to invite the CMA to come and say something before we invite our party leader. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much, Madam Senator. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, Your Excellency, and thank you for the invite. I see a lot of members of Parliament. So first, I'm to be in your presence as soon as visiting meeting from CMA. CMA Certified Mediators and Advisory Board. Your Excellency, we're here because of the great work that you've done. And this is simply because of you being yourself. We have lost great leaders who should be bringing peace in our communities, but simply because they want out. And the society feels like if we have more leaders like you still around, that kind of humanity in you, that kind of way to lead the rest of the people should be passed on to the younger leaders, to the younger generation of leadership that is coming. Recently, CMA held the very first social gathering when the Jay-Z's woke us up. And we spoke a lot with most of their leaders. We also managed to meet other leaders on the political side, because our main goal, or the biggest objective for CMA, is to build a bridge between society and governance. And the name that kept coming on and on as the only man respected in politics, at the same time by the society, is you, Your Excellency. And the word is here just for that. Kindly keep it up. Let the other leaders learn from you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, madam. Now I want to invite Mr. Tom Aosa, the President of National Community-Based Organization Council. Karibu Tom, and give your remarks.
My name is Tom Aosa from the National Council of Citizens. Your Excellency, I'm very proud to be here with them, seeing us, seeing in the news, the many things we think that we'll be doing. What we did in South Sudan that brought us to this point is a regional thing that made Kenyans very proud, and people all over the world about your participation in that process of freedom and eventually freedom, or people getting their country from the other side. We have been having a lot of consultations before you were chosen as the winner of this award. Many names came up. Very senior names I don't want to mention. But then all the committees or researchers that we had settled on your name, and we were going for the points of whoever is mentioned. We did that within a month, but we did extensive research. Many people won this award, including Piero Lumumba, Senator Okiya Mtata, Paul Kimuli, Doctor, and Ambassador, and many other people. The TNC also, we had Anifa Adam won the award, and many other people won this award. This was the first award in East Africa, and this is a regional award that will be given to winners annually. This was the first one, and we are very proud to have had you as part of the winners and the highest respected winner in that case. As the society, as a leader of CBOs, we have CBOs all over every village. I expect from where all of us come from, and we have a leadership also. It's assisted a lot in coming up with the people in the society who works for the society, who understands this award. In mediation society, in the mediation area, the people in the slums and in our villages need this mediation more than ever before. We have 60,000 prisoners in Kenya. Half of them are in that because of petty crimes, which they could not even have gotten to police station. they could have mediated within themselves to make sure that they solve it and move on. We cannot have children who are around 17 years and 18 years in the prison because maybe even the fine they were given is 3,000, but the family cannot afford. So they end up doing the case for 10 years. They cannot attend school. Their active age is gone because of things we could have stopped otherwise within the family. As a CPO council leader, I've had a discussion with CMA to have our people from the villages trained. They will cater for the training cost so that mediation can start from the grassroots and change the lives of people. We have 3,000 women in prison. Half of them are at the age of 30 years old. They need to start families. How can they start families in prison? We have kids who have been born in prison, raised in prison because of their parents or the mother was involved in a very petty crime, which otherwise they forgive each other back home, but still the case is in court because it's now at the level where law is applied, it's difficult to make it within them. I stand here believing that this is the beginning of serious mediation and peace within the communities. I also believe in you because you have members in parliament, you have members in the Senate, like this friend of mine here, serious senators you have in parliament. There is a way you can pass the message we have through your members of parliament. We all know what is happening in Kenya today politically, but having you and your team behind you, civil society has different voices coming from every quarter, very good voices, but the voices are not coordinated. So we're even thinking, can we as civil society come together and form a certain union that can pass the message we have through you so that you can use your parliamentarians and senators to implement or protect parliament so that we have our voices heard. Approaching individual members of parliament becomes very difficult. We have a few options. One of which is to come up with a shadow cabinet of civil society. That does not stop you from having you as a opposition leader. But ours is to consolidate the good voices of the GNCs, the other civil society leaders, so that we give to you as a document that can be discussed at a level where decisions are made. I hope with those few remarks, I want to thank you so much for creating time to come and receive this award. And I will invite my partner, senior partner, CMA, Evelyn Price, to come with the award so that we can award His Excellency.
Your Excellency, I kindly request to join us to receive this award. Thank you.
Come in front, please. Come in front.
It's actually written. Regional conflict mediator. And my name. Actually 5 stars. 5 stars. Ladies and gentlemen, and Madam Evelyn Bright, I like the name. Yeah. And then we're house. This gentleman is in charge of 72,000. It's amazing that you're doing this for the first time. We congratulate you. And I also want to congratulate my fellow awardees in the various categories. And I'm sure that I would have loved to join them at the Serena, but there was a bit of a mix-up. We were ready to go to Red and Blue, then it was changed to Serena. Be that as it may, we have a country to think about, to love, to uphold the principles that hold us together, basically the rule of law. We have a region that is in dire need of mediation. And even before we go to the region, the country itself. I happen to be a certified mediator myself, and I went through a mediation course. I'm sure that may not have been captured. But people remember that when we were given some jobs to do by two presidents, President Daniel Moi at that time as a young foreign minister, and if you allow me to mention Evelyn, you just mentioned to me that your grandmother is a famous Elizabeth Bagaya, who served as foreign minister in Uganda. And now she's doing regional work, literally. Can somebody hold this for me? Now that I've taken possession. So you see, you have that DNA of working for regional well-being, the integration of East Africans. I gather from Evelyn that the next stop will be Dar es Salaam in February. And I will want to bring on board people like my friend Jakaya Kikwete and others. And I remember that Kenyans and East Africans will have forgotten that I was actually given the responsibility by Bayao, believe it or not, by three presidents. President Yoweri Museveni, President Moi, and President Ali Hassan Mwinyi, to jumpstart the East African community. That time it was just cooperation. I was the first chair of that ministerial tripartite commission. My colleagues were president at that time. Foreign Minister of Tanzania was Regasira. Kikwete had not even been appointed foreign minister. And Rugunda, who later became Prime Minister of Uganda, was also the foreign minister of Uganda. We worked with speed because we recognized East Africans made a terrible mistake when the East African community collapsed in 1977. Again, unknown to Kenyans and East Africans, Europe borrowed heavily a kind of example. And they went on to build today, you talk about European Union. First of all, it was a commission, a union. And on our part, we decided because of lack of political will that time, remember President Milton Obote that time, Mwalimu Nyerere, Mzee Kenyatta, you recall, even today, sometimes Tanzanians wonder how it happened because we took hold of Kenya Airways, East African Airways and things, and even the division of assets was a big issue. But now, the younger generation is coming of age, the Gen Zs, because now I think our responsibility as senior leaders is to prepare this country and hand it over properly to the next generation. So we applaud our young leaders, the Gen Zs, who decided, hey, you will not take our country from us and escape. We will be hard. Therefore, Anifa, who was one of the recipients, is she on the way? Yeah, if she's here, we want to celebrate Anifa. She told the police to their face. And even as we speak, those issues have not been sorted. We heard from this administration of William Ruto that they were going to compensate the youths who lost their lives. The families are still waiting. No compensation, no talk even, no indication whatsoever that you are willing to talk to these parents. Well, I think it is important. Justice demands that we don't make promises that we can't keep or we don't intend to keep. They just wanted an escape route, which they got. Some of us afforded them an escape route, and then they got all of it. And in fact, some of us who belong to the Azimio family are benefiting from the blood and the sweat of the many Kenyans who came to the streets, and the whole world stood still and took notice of the Gen Z revolt and movement. In my view, that revolution continues until these things are sorted out and Kenyans meant to live peaceably with each other. Remember, I think it's in the book of Ephesians, where the Bible tells us, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Leaders, we will be there looking for votes and calling each other names. But remember, we have a country. We are all, at the end of the day, Kenyans, East Africans, and members of the world community. Therefore, the example of the Gen Z and the millennials. By the way, they are the ones who came out in Botswana hardly 2 weeks ago. The Gen Zs and the millennials came out. So I think it's within the mediation spirit to ask this administration to give ideas to these young Kenyans, because they want to come and teach some people a lesson of their lives. Like they did in Botswana, where the ruling party that time, President Wu did one term. And if you look at what happened in Botswana, you can almost see exactly what has happened in Kenya. The president was driven out by the Gen Zs and the millennials, was torturing his predecessor Ian Khan, I think that's the name. Yeah. And in fact, that president escaped. Former president went to South Africa on exile. And then you preach hatred. Again, remember the biblical principle. You kill by the sword, you die by the sword. Hey. So there's so much. When God gives us bread, let us live peaceably with each other. Don't punish your opponents. You know, now, there are business people in this country who cannot dare to be identified with the opposition because they know the KRA people will be on their case tomorrow. Yani watu wanaishi kwa woga. So we must say no to fear. In a democracy, you cannot have that principle of fear and call yourself a democratic state. Therefore, the Gen Z say, whether we die, they were almost like Paul, who wrote and said, for me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. They said to die is gain. So we have to redeem this land. So that blood cannot have been shed in vain. In 2023, at these grounds, after the demonstrations, the churches in Nairobi could not even allow us to hold some requiem mass for the almost 70 young people who died. So we had to put a tent here. You may remember, media colleagues, that we were putting wreaths here. Former President Uhuru was here, Raila was here, I was here, and other leaders. We couldn't even be allowed to bury those young people decently. And we ferried them to Siaya, to Makueni. We ferried them. And then a repeat of 2024, this time led by the Gen Zs. So there's time now, there's need for us to talk, mediation, and ability to live together as Kenyans. Though we will disagree, as indeed we ought to, in a democracy, and let us remember that what is it that is the nexus holding us together? Our Constitution 10, bequeathed to us by President Kibaki. At least hold that. Let's hold to that constitutionalism, that sense of constitutionalism, the rule of law, and when we say tumeumizana, people should be to say sorry literally and do something about it. We will on Friday here be addressing a very critical issue because our research team is on it. So media, don't be tired. we want to talk about this vaccination of 22 million cows. Eh, utashangaa kabisa the reason behind it. People using climate change debate say our cows produce methane gas, which is okay, our cows, right? And because of the clever Kenyans actually do biogas, they cook with it. Now they want to vaccinate our cows in order to stop producing. Can you imagine? Because they say you offend the ozone layer, and to use Kenya as a guinea pig. So after this vaccination of 22 million cattle, we will be eating meat that has been genetically modified. It's not enough that they have lifted the orders on GMO and we have gone to their few code. GMO imekubalika. We need therefore this mediation spirit in us so we know, tell each other the truth. So this is really, come to think of it, this is dangerous stuff. But we'll talk about it on Friday. When Jeremiah Kioni kept on talking about this over the weekend, I was wondering, what is Kioni talking about? Until the reality has hit me. So we will say a polite and firm no to some of these machinations. And we'll ask our people. By saying no, we are not saying you don't belong to Kenya or you want to immigrate. No, this is the only land. This is our land. Yeah. In the book of Isaiah, Kenyans have tried to identify where Kenya is. The land beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. So this land is important. Kwa hivyo mimi niwashukuru sana. I don't know whether it would be in order for me to ask one or two of my colleagues. Yeah, Paloma. We take a picture first. We face that way. So you want us to turn the chairs?
Ngoja kwanza.
The front. Okay. I really hope I never could be there in time. I want my present. I need it. Anipa hajafika. You know, this again is the Law Society justice. Let justice reign, like rain, and balance yourselves. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Robert, for joining us. Robert is a deputy minority leader. Actually, we come here.
Yeah, these are the comments. Acha mambo yao to come and be with us. Iko sawa? Aye. Possibly, jump into the mzee hiyo namba 9. The only trouble is his name is Zakayo. Nawashukuruni sana. Sawa. Bila shaka. Thank you, Mzee.
take this opportunity to, first of all, congratulate CMA for this award and for finding the right man for the award. Because I can tell you that as our team leader, we are very, very proud of him and what he has done for this country. When you're talking about peace, this country has known instability before. And during some of our darkest days, particularly in 2007, 2008, that is when he came out and stood by President Mwai Kibaki, stabilized this country. So the peace we celebrated. Then after that, he had something to do with it. And this country remembers him for that. And not just in this country, beyond our borders, in Sudan, South Sudan. The role he has played in stabilizing the region, in bringing peace in the region. You couldn't have found a better person for this award. And we want to thank you for that. But also to congratulate His Excellency for his outstanding role as a mediator, as a peacemaker, and as a leader who has always fought to bring the country together for all Kenyans to live in peace and harmony. So we are very proud today to celebrate this award. The Bible says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Your Excellency, congratulations, and we're very proud of you. But also to say what Bishop Desmond Tutu once said, that without justice there can be no peace. Without peace there can be no development. I want to share the sentiments of His Excellency that indeed, even as we move forward, we must ensure that we do justice to ensure that our country is peaceful. What happened last year and this year in terms of the demonstrations against the Finance Bill 2023 and the Finance Bill 2024, and the Gen Zs who were killed, their families are still crying out for justice. Perhaps today we might see the country is calm and think that our country is peaceful. Indeed, it might just be the calm before the storm, especially with the plans of this broad-based government to bring back the 2024 Finance Bill. We did tell them last year that please drop this Finance Bill. They did not listen to us, and it costed lives. 75 died last year, over 60 died this year, and bringing back this Finance Bill is like bringing back the storm that caused bloodshed. And as we celebrate this peacemaker, we want to reach out to the broad-based government to tell them not to provoke the wrath of the Gen Zs to come back to the streets, but also to do justice for the families who lost their dear ones. And that we will fight for even as we celebrate this award. Perhaps maybe I would invite Governor Waitito and one or two colleagues to also congratulate our leader, but to assure the country that even as we move forward, we will continue fighting for peace and for justice for our fellow Kenyans. Karibu Governor, salimie, upongeze kiongozi wetu.
I also take this opportunity to congratulate the coming president, 2027, because of the work that he has done for this country for a long time. We remember very well when he was the foreign minister, he mediated the peace between the varying factions in Sudan, SPLM, SPLA, led by Mr. Garan, and that country became a stable country and elections were held and they achieved their independence. We also associate the former vice president with peace in this country, a peaceful man, God-loving person. There is no spilling of blood in this country that has ever been associated with him. And according to us, we have seen other young leaders who have come just the other day, and so much blood has been spilled when they are in leadership. We saw what happened the other day with the agencies. So many of them died because of advocating good governance. And that is why some of us who are on the side of the government, who campaigned for the president who is there now, William Ruto, we decamp from that government, from the ruling Kenya Kwanza government, because of the way this government is being run. A lot of confusion you can see in the government. The medical scheme, the SAR and the SHE, all this confusion. NHIF was running very well. Everybody was benefiting. We don't know what became of the whole idea of this new idea, but we know very well it is corruption. And that is why we are telling our incoming president that this is your right of time to come forward and save this country. Na ndio sisi wote, Your Excellency, we are saying, ongoza sisi vile unatuongoza sasa kwa Kenya. And from where I come from, Mount Kenya region, people are with you 100%. People believe that you are the savior of this country. Na vile the organization has recognized you as a peacemaker. Sisi wote tunakubaliana, naona tunakukongratulate na tunakwambia vile unaongea tu polepole tu kama Kibaki. Hiyo ndio tunataka. Hatutaki watu wakupiga kelele. Hawa wakujipiga kifua tumeona wanaumiza wananchi. Kibaki was talking just slowly like you, mkiwa na yeye na mkaongoza hii nchi, tukapata free education na maendeleo mengi. Tunataka wewe utoe ile manifesto mlikuwa naye na Kibaki, uongoze kutoka 2027, nchi inawili tena. Thank you so much.
The governor of Bahao, he has found it very difficult to talk about that thing. Sometimes he says shisha. So we have also leaders of both houses of parliament here who are leading us in parliament. And I'd like to invite Robert Mbui, who is our leader in the National Assembly, to say a word. Then invite his counterpart in the Senate to also say a word. Senator Mbui, please.
Thank you. Let me take this opportunity to also congratulate you, Your Excellency. I'm very proud that, I'm organizing secretary of your party, the party that you lead, and also leader in Azimio that you also lead. Your Excellency, as we congratulate you, I just want to say that there's still a lot of conflict that we need you to step in and help us. Our lecturers are out in the streets, government is not paying them. That's something that requires mediation. Your Excellency, the program that has been talked about of SHA, which is SHIF, under the Social Health Insurance Fund, is failing Kenya's, Your Excellency. So you need to also step in and give direction. Your Excellency, our youth are still smarting out there. I mean, like you just said, this is a calm before the storm. We know that from Parliament there's an intention to bring some of those, draconian and punitive taxes through the back door in Parliament. So, Your Excellency, we also want that you step in and help us to also mediate that process. So I know there's a lot of work that you have that is ahead of us, but I'm certain that you're the man for the job. Otherwise, congratulations, keep up the good work.
Senator Mbui, please.
Thank you very much, Excellency. I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate you for this prestigious award, which is well deserved. Because I know you are Imam of the word and you read the Bible. The Bible says in the Beatitudes, the blessed are the peacemakers, they shall be called sons of God. We thank you for the work that you have continued to do in this country and in this region. But as Mheshimiwa Mbui has said, and as Eugene has said, your commitment to peacemaking must never
be mistaken for cowardice, because it is not. Peacemakers are not necessarily people that will sit and allow aggressors to violate their rights or the rights of people around. But a leader, personally, I want to tell this country, because I think I know. If there is a leader in this country who believes in the rights of other people, even more than his own rights, then that leader is Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo. And I know that even today, if you realize that the rights of even your political opponents are being violated, you will stand firm in defense of their rights. And that's the leader that this country has been waiting for. But a leader, as I conclude, this country, and I say this also as a male in the church, this country has been waiting for your leadership. And that time has come. Lead with courage, assured that behind you and walking alongside you are millions of Kenyans who profess and are committed to justice. I thank you.
Thank you very much. We're very pleased amongst us to receive the other very distinguished leader who's received this Peace Award. Many of you heard about her during the Gen Z process. Hanifa, we are very, very proud of you and your team. And before we invite you, we want to invite one of our lawyers, Ndego Njiru here, because